Hi guys, thanks for joining me. This is going to be a top 5, bottom 5, but not in my typical style. Normally I focus all on one brand at a time, but I thought it might be useful to do this style of video just with these beauty blender type sponges in general. Now you've got the actual beauty blender, but there are of course a lot of knockoffs as well. And so I thought maybe I could share the ones that I think work the best and the ones that really don't, because sometimes the way these are packaged in stores, you can't always just get your hands on it and squeeze it and feel the texture or understand what's going to happen when you dampen it. Is it going to grow in size and become nice and soft? You know, there are a lot of potential questions there. So I thought maybe I could answer some of those in this video. And in the past year, I've become such a believer in using some sort of sponge to apply foundation or concealer. I don't think you have to use it with every single product out there, but I just think it's such a versatile tool because you can take thicker foundations and kind of get a more sheer look to them, or I think blender sponges build coverage really nicely, but I feel like they do it in a way that you can really customize to your own liking. And for me, I will always use a sponge like this damp, so I will get it under the sink, I will squeeze it a few times, let the water run through it, and you will notice with most of these, they really grow in size. Every sponge that I show in this video, I've freshly cleaned it, and so you're looking at them at maximum size. When you purchase one of these, they're going to be just a little bit smaller than this because they're just dry. But anyway, you get it under the sink, squeeze it a few times, really then wring all the moisture out of it. I don't even want to hear like a squishy sound in my sponge anymore. That's kind of my cue that, okay, I've wrung it out enough. I like to squeeze it in a towel and then I feel like, okay, I'm ready to go. It's damp, but it's not really depositing a lot of water on my skin. And then you can use it to dab out your foundation, your concealer. I think beauty blenders work great on cream products, whether it be a cream contour, a cream blush, cream highlights, you name it. There are a lot of really great functions for these, and more than I've probably even realized at this point. But I also hope that this video helps you out because I think it can be useful to have more than one. I've really enjoyed having different shapes and sizes, and also just different ones to have in your rotation. So when one's dirty, you can grab for a different one before it's time to clean them. And speaking of cleaning, I have a Beauty Blender Solid Cleanser. It just looks like a little round soap, and I got a mini size in a little kit that I had gotten, and I do think that works really well. I just kind of get my sponge damp, rub it on there, and then wring it out in the sink, and you can see just all of the product falling from the sponge. And does anybody else really get satisfaction out of cleaning their sponges? I think it's way more fun than cleaning a makeup brush. Let's move on to the top 5, bottom 5. I'm going to go with the top 5 first, and I'm going to start with number 5 and work my way up to my most favorite, my number 1 sponge. But everything in this top 5, to me, I think is very good quality. So my number 5 is the actual, just traditional beauty blender, the pink sponge. Like I said, this has been freshly cleaned, so it is at its like maximum size right now. It's really nice and squishy. This is one of the best in terms of being a full-size sponge, but coming to a nice like tapered point. So it does work really nicely for blending in foundation. It's nice and soft. It just has a very bouncy texture to it. So it works so well blending out foundations. If you want to blend out some concealer, it's not my favorite thing for concealer. I'll get to that in a second. But I do think this is just a great quality sponge. It's going to be more expensive when you buy sponges from the actual Beauty Blender line, but it is number 5 in this little ranking for a reason because I've got some things that I still like better. Number 4 is the Beauty Blender Blusher, and this is a more recent release, and it is actually like kind of a grayish shade. And again, this is its maximum size. Originally when you get it, it looks a little bit smaller than that. And I feel like it's made out of a little bit softer material than the original Beauty Blender. It feels like just a larger size of the Micro Mini. It's that soft, it's that spongy. So I just love this sponge texture-wise, but I do think it actually does a great job on cream blushes. It's a really perfect size just for hitting the apple of your cheek there, but also if you wanted to do a contour, you know, and go right under the cheekbone. It's not oversized for those purposes either. And at the same time, I've used this for foundation also. So it's a nice kind of middle size, a very, very soft feel. So I love that one. I love it just a little more than the original Beauty Blender. Now my number 3 sponge is a great deal, and it's from Ulta, and it's called the Small Super Blender. And I got this in a duo for like $4 or $5. And this one really seems to grow in size a lot when you dampen it. I feel like when it started, it was like half this size. But here it is next to an original Beauty Blender. It's kind of close to the same height, but it's got this little pinched in hourglass type shape here. And I love that it is really soft. It feels, you know, just as squishy as my regular Beauty Blender does, but I do love the size. I feel like it can do a lot of the same things that the Beauty Blender blusher does. It's got the little pointed side. It's also got a nice rounded side. I've applied foundation with this many times. I can also get under the eye area with it. I feel like I can do any kind of blush bronzer type step, but I ranked this one just a little higher than the Beauty Blender blusher because I feel like it's just a tremendous value for it to do basically the same functions, and you get two for right around $5 or a little less. I think that's amazing. Now, my number 2 blender sponge is the Beauty Blender Micro Mini. Absolutely love this for the under eye area. I think this is so great for under eye concealer. It's so gentle. It really has a softness to it. I swear it's a different material than the original Beauty Blender is made of. It feels exactly like the blusher in that it's very, very soft, very squishy, and it's just the perfect size to hit that cavern, as I like to call it, on the inner part of the eye, dabbing all over here. It's great for not over blending your concealer so you can maintain a lot of coverage, but at the same time it makes the finish, the end look of your concealer on the under eye look so natural. So this thing is just so useful to me, such a must-have. I purchased a little 4-pack of the pastel colored Beauty Blender Micro Minis off of Sephora, and I was fully expecting to have busted into those by now because I was thinking, well, this maybe is gonna lose some durability. It's smaller. Maybe the more I wash it, the more it's gonna, like, little pieces will start to come off or something. I have seen no change. This thing has just stayed so good. So we're moving on to number 1 now, and I really see this one and my number 1 sponge, like, these are my top 2. Like, if I could only have a couple, these would be it. And this is my Real Techniques sponge. So I'm so glad I like my Real Techniques sponge because it's a lot less expensive than the regular Beauty Blender. A lot of times you can find these in 2-packs at Ulta, and it's absolutely as soft as I could need it to be. I feel like the texture is maybe just a teeny bit softer than the original Beauty Blender. I enjoy having this flat edge because sometimes I just pat on my foundation like that. I feel like it does a really quick job of it, but you've also got this nice point to work with as well. So versatile, really nice quality, holds up well. If you haven't used any kind of sponge like this before, I think this might be a really great place to start. And then, you know, like I said, this is the great little dynamic duo team for me. I love that around your smaller, more precise areas, and then this all over the face. These sponges can give a really pretty, natural looking finish to even some of the things that I thought were more cakey, but, you know, just using a damp sponge can help a lot. Now, there's one product that I did not mention in that top 5, and I just want to give you a little explanation why, because I've mentioned this sponge recently. This is another Ulta brand sponge. They're selling these in duos. They're white. I didn't get it totally clean here, and it's super duper soft. Like, it feels kind of like the Micro Mini or the Beauty Blender blusher, but it's a lot chubbier than a Beauty Blender, and I do like using it, but I feel like I've often got to really pinch it to get where I want it to go. You can see the tip doesn't come quite as pointed like it does on a regular Beauty Blender. So I like this sponge. I like the quality of it, but just the shape leaves a little to be desired for me. But all of those sponges, what they have in common is that growth when you add water to them, and just a great softness. Something my bottom 5 have in common is that when I add water to any of these, they really don't change. They don't change size. They still feel really hard, like very hard to start with, and the water just doesn't seem to help them out too much. So bottom 5, we're going to be leading up to an ultimate worst blending sponge. But number 5 is the one from e.l.f. So as you can gather here, this one is the least bad out of the group. It does have a little bit of softness to it. I can actually, like, squeeze the sponge in my hand. It's definitely not as soft as one from, like, Beauty Blender or Real Techniques, but it does have just a little bit of give to it. It's still not enough for me. When the sponge is not spongy and soft enough, I feel like you run the risk of having a kind of a streaky and uneven application to your foundation. And this e.l.f. sponge, you know, this is damp, and it really didn't change the shape of it much. It didn't add much to its texture, so it is in my my bottom 5 because it's not a way I would want to apply my foundation or anything really. Numbers 4 through 1 here, same kind of complaint. We just keep getting harder and harder with the sponges, like little rock hard sponges. This one is from Ulta. This is the one actually called the Super Blender. So earlier we talked about the small Super Blender. This one is soft, it's squishy. This one, like, I don't know. This one is definitely made out of some different kind of material, not nearly as squishy as the other one. You can see it looks similar to the shape of the elf, but it's got a little more flatness across the bottom, but just a really hard blender sponge. I was recently trying a few things from iKate House, that website where you can get a lot of like really affordable palettes and different things, and I tried a beauty blender sponge from there, and this brand is called Tina, and yeah, it looks like it should be good, right? It kind of resembles a regular beauty blender, but you're seeing the sponge here totally, you know, wet down with water, and it's really hard. It doesn't change shape much. I did use this one day over the weekend to apply my foundation. I just thought, you know, you can tell such a difference after you've been using something so soft and nice like this. Numbers 2 and 1, these are the most rock hard blender sponges that I have ever used. And the Up and Up brand from Target, I tell you, they make some fabulous brushes, some of my favorite drugstore brushes on the market, but they totally missed the mark when it comes to their blender sponges. They made them look cute. I think they put them out in some different colors, but this sponge, like, that's all the more I can squeeze it. It's like if you start pressing this up on your face, there's no give to it. It is just way, way too hard. And then they put out a mini, and I remember being so excited when I saw this in the store because I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. I haven't seen like a micro mini dupe yet, but this is my number 1 worst because this is like, while this is hard, at least it's big. This is hard and tiny, and I would not advise anyone to try applying concealer with this product. Like, it just goes nowhere. It has a mind of its own. It's like a stubborn little sponge. It just doesn't want to give. It doesn't want to really absorb water. It just... And that really sums up just about all of the blender sponges that I've tried. I know there are many more knockoffs out there. Some may be awesome. There are other, you know, things from the specific beauty blender brand that I haven't tried. And I'm open to any recommendations you want to give in the comments section. But I just thought it was time to give a little roundup. I've tried this many sponges, and some are definitely so, so good and affordable too. And then some are just like little rocks. And when this stuff is all packaged up in the store and you can't really get your hands on it and squeeze it and get a sense of how soft it is or how soft it might become, that's when you got to go to YouTube and do your research, right? So I hope this helped. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.